Hello, it's Caroline from Sante Women's Coaching. Today we get to do a restorative practice. You're going to love it. It's awesome for rebalancing the entire nervous system, just letting the body have a chance to rejuvenate and restore, hence the name. And for this practice, you're going to need bolsters and blankets and pillows and foam rollers and straps and blocks. Basically any and every prop that you think you might want, go ahead and grab it just in case. You can always put it away later, but it's nice to have it available for when you need it. For each pose, we'll stay in the poses for 5 to 10, maybe even up to 15 minutes. And you can always pause the video and do it for longer if you like, because none of these are going to be taxing on the joints. They are safe to use for a long time. So with that, our first pose is going to be a really good grounding pose to help us get ready for our practice. So we're going to do child's pose, but this isn't your average child's pose, the one that we get in class all the time. This is restorative child's pose, which means we make it as comfy as possible. So for me, I'm going to widen my knees instead of having them together. I'm going to grab, I borrowed this from my daughter, a little step stool. I'm going to grab my step stool to create a platform base. You can also use a chair. You can actually put a chair upside down so that the legs are available, and then you can do the back of the seat. I'm going to grab bolsters and create a pillow effect. And again, you can do the same thing with a lot of pillows. I just wanted to use the big block instead. And then I'm going to have my timer handy so that we don't go too long. I know we all have things to do. And from here, we're going to settle in. And we're going to just lean forward and rest. Now, if you like having your face available, your face open, you get claustrophobic when your face is covered, then go ahead and leave it open. Just make sure that your neck right through here is not lifting up, because that could do damage on your neck if you left it that way. So we want to make sure that it's in a comfortable position. So I'm actually going to just separate my bolsters here a little bit so that I can rest in between them. And then many people like to have something so that their forehead can rest, to touch that little pressure point in the middle of the forehead. And if you do, then just make yourself a little block here, or a little stand here, so that you can rest your forehead on it. Personally, I don't care for that feeling quite as much, so I'm gonna just leave it as it is. But like I said, this is all about your own personal comfort, so whatever it takes for you to feel at ease, that's what you should do. And then make sure that your wrists and arms are free. So for some people, because of their particular body makeup, however their bones are constructed, they're going to want to raise those arms up a little bit. Again, for me, I'm good just like this. This is all I need to be really comfortable. And once you're here, once you've found the right position with your bolsters under your wrists, under your knees, even your ankles if necessary, then focus on taking some breaths through your nose, and then sigh it out with the mouth open. It's called a melting breath, and it's just a really comfortable way to really settle into the pose and let your body start resting. And if this is safe to do no matter what, if you're pregnant and so you don't want to be laying on your stomach, all you do is just construct your position so that you can lay more like this, and that would be totally fine. We just want to feel supported in our forward lean position, regardless of what it takes to feel supported. Now, I don't have any music playing because it would make it harder for you to hear me, but you're always welcome to just put on some light very light, slow music in the background. If it's a sound that really appeals to you and helps you to relax, that's a great idea. I tend to avoid doing music with words simply because we start thinking about the words and we start wanting to sing with them, and then we're getting active again. And our goal here is to let our body relax so that all of our energy can go to the work of restoration at hand, rather than to maintaining, mental focus or something like that. And we're almost there. So just keep focusing. This is just such a good feeling. Yet another, just a few minutes here. Continue to relax. And we'll see, it's always possible that when we go through and edit this video that I'll end up finding some nice music or something in the background. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. We kind of play it by ear around here. You never know, right? You never know. But keep thinking about that melting breath where you're inhaling through your nose, you're sighing out through your mouth. It's a gentle sigh. It's not a hard sigh, just gentle. But it does allow you to just relax more, and you do feel like you're literally melting down into the ground even more. One final inhale and exhale. And then we're going to slowly work our way out of it. So whatever props you had in under your arms, gently shift those to the side, pressing away against the floor so that we don't put too much pressure on our back and spine. And then we're going to adjust and just set our blankets and things aside for our next pose. And as I said at the beginning, you are always welcome to stay in a pose for longer. Just pause the video. That's the beauty of having a video instead of a live class, because you pause it as you need to. Okay, so for our next pose, it's one of my favorites, and it's going to be a sideline pose, which means we'll end up doing it on both sides. So to start, what we're going to do, we're going to set one block here, or for me, I'm going to set a bolster behind. I'm going to set a bolster up above, kind of make an L shape here. And then I want to have some blankets available. So as I get into my position, I can rearrange as needed. So I know that I'm going to want a little something underneath my bottom knee. And then I'm going to want something on between the knees. So I'm settling down and in. Now you can see I've got a bolster here so that my head can stay in a healthy spinal alignment. And then I'm not laying on my shoulder directly on my side. I'm actually going to roll the shoulder out from underneath so that I'm laying on the shoulder blade. Very important. Then, like I said, I've got half of my blanket underneath my bottom leg, and then I've got the other half on top of that leg so that my knee can rest on top. Now, as I checked it out, I found that it wasn't quite enough between the knees to ensure that the hips stay in a comfortable position. Now, this isn't just a side lay, we're actually going to do a little twist into it. So I'm going to, with that bolster that I set behind me, I'm actually going to kind of roll my back on top of that bolster. Here for time. I'm going to roll on top of that bolster and open the top arm out to the side. Now check this out. Is this comfortable? And I notice that my elbow just feels a little bit too open there by laying it flat. So I'm going to grab this other blanket and I'm going to let my arm rest on it, allowing more space underneath the wrist than the elbow. And then I want to have a gentle bend in the elbow. I never want to feel like any of my limbs, my arms or my legs are full extended, because then you risk overly extending. So let's settle in then. And again, finding that comfortable breath. Inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your mouth with a sigh. Noticing as you do those first few in position, where do you feel like you're settling down into it? Do you feel like your body's kind of wanting to shift as you're doing it? So make sure that you're fully comfortable so that you can stay in this position for longer. And then just let the nervous system quiet down. The only way you can do that is if you feel safe, which is why we want every part of our body supported. And then from here, if you want to just roll around that top wrist, add a little bit of movement. For the most part, we're going to be trying to stay pretty calm and relaxed throughout. But it's okay. Some of us like a little bit of arm movement, a little bit of movement in our body. So if you just want to lift that arm up, moving it in circles, just move with the joints rather than against. So make sure it's a wave if you do move, similar to what you would do if you were in water, that same healthy rhythm and motion that you would get in water. And you can always open up the shoulder if it feels good and if it's available to your shoulder right now. Feeling a stretch along the front of the body. Another thing to consider when you're setting up your restorative practice is if you are one of those that really likes essential oils, that really likes scents or smells, you might end up wanting to set out a diffuser or something like that to get some aromatic helps in the air. Depending on what it is you're looking for, there are different essential oils that are more relaxing and rejuvenating than others, so just make sure you pick them accordingly, very carefully. Personally, I'm very sensitive to the smells, to the oils, so I prefer not to, but everyone is different. What works for one isn't necessarily going to work for another, so feel free to experiment with oils when you're relaxing like this. Few more breaths here, really giving your body time to relax. notice what your body's doing. Notice how the muscles are just slowly releasing. It takes time. Now from here, we're just going to think about moving again, but it's only to switch to the other side. We're not making a huge change here. So thinking about where the blankets are positioned right now and how we're going to want to mimic that. As we slowly roll back towards the side we're on, taking a breath. Gently pressing the floor away. And then all we're doing is switching sides. So that back bolster is going to remain in the same spot for me. Front bolster is going to shift a little bit here. And I remember I wanted one layer underneath the bottom leg and then double layer between the legs. All right. And then underneath the head. Gentle twist towards the back. And don't forget, you're always welcome to put something in between your ankles. And I feel like I could use something right now between my ankles. So I'm just gonna grab a handy bolster. Hand towels and washcloths and things like that are really handy to have too. And then adjusting that bolster behind me so that I can roll open. So from here, we just lay in place, breathing deeply. I'm getting tired. I am going to lift that upper arm up and just move the wrist around like I did before, just allowing that my nervous system to balance out from one side to the other. And I'm always using the muscles to make the movement. The muscle never originates in the joint itself. The movement originates in the muscles. And then eventually I'm going to open it up and feel a delicious stretch in the front of the chest. And then thinking about that melting breath again. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth with a sigh. And just resting, knowing that this is the whole purpose of what I'm doing right now. It's to be comfortable and to let the body rest. Breathing deeply. Enjoying the rest. Just checking my time here. If you do this at home outside of this video or other restorative videos, then keep your watch or your phone handy so that you can just set your timer. That way, in case you get so comfortable that you forget that time is passing, you always have a little reminder to make sure that you don't miss an important engagement somewhere else. So having a clock is a good thing. And anytime you move around, make sure you come back to that melting breath. It'll help you settle into the new position. Excuse me. Yawning is fine. Just try to avoid falling asleep because that will put us in a different brainwave pattern. And so what we're trying to get done here in restorative won't happen when we're sleeping, unfortunately. Just different functions depending on where our nervous system is. Already about time to start coming out of this one as well. So shifting around, moving gently. Bring the weight into your arms so that you can press the floor away. Always be sensitive that since you were laying down, there's the chance that, your body will have settled in and you'll have to adjust or wait for the body to adjust itself so that you don't get dizzy. So those were our two side poses, and now we get to do our last pose. And this is a fun one of my absolute favorites. So to do this one, I'm going to grab that little stairwell again. We're doing restorative Savasana. So I'm going to do what I did at the beginning with my bolsters right here on top. And then I'm going to want to place, let's see, I think I'll grab my Pilates mat. If you're not familiar with the Pilates mats are not like yoga mats. They are not sticky, so you will slide on them. But they are extra thick, which allows you to use it as great cushioning. So that's what it's really good for. Now I'm going to have my knees open on this one. So I'm going to want something on the sides. So I'm going to grab my two bolsters, or my two rollers, one on each side, and then I'm just going to grab my blanket across. Let's see how that feels. That will kind of help to hold them in place. Yeah, that's nice. Then I'm going to grab the other blanket for my feet, so that I have a little something underneath my ankles. All right, so I'm gonna check this out. Make an adjustment. Okay. All right, this guy wants to roll. There, now I can't roll. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna have my arms open. You can always grab more blankets or something to put, again, underneath those wrists. And then you want your head supported at a safe position so that you have a comfortable angle here at your neck. You don't want your head falling back and looking straight up. You also don't want it crunching forward. You want the natural curvature of the spine to remain. So I'm adjusting so that I can do that. And then I'm still leaning pretty far back. You could be all the way up here if that was what was the best for you right now. So we'll just come into this. If in doubt, put something under it. So you want every space totally supported. And then as you lay in the pose for a moment, you'll actually notice if something doesn't feel quite right, and that's what you then start to adjust. Enjoying the stretch, enjoying the lack of movement, letting your heart just gently open. As you're laying here in this position, I want you to think about a verse. This is from Isaiah 26:3. So just listen to the words and then meditate on the words. Just chew on them. Isaiah 26:3, and it says, "You will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on you, because he trusts in you." So just while you're resting, rest in perfect peace. Don't worry about what's going to happen later. Don't worry about what has happened in the past. Just focus on him and let him take care of everything that's going to happen later. Let him take care of your future. Let him take care of your present. And just rest in him. Continuing to breathe. Inhaling through your nose, exhaling with a sigh out through your mouth, melting down. Just a few more moments, and then you can go back to the rest of your day, to whatever other jobs you have. But just for now, let your body rest. We only have a few more breaths here before we're finished. So just inhaling and exhaling at your relaxed pace. If you want to start moving your wrists or rolling your ankles if they're available to you, you can do that. Or you can stay in your position, but for those of you that are going to need to be up and moving, then you're going to want to start shifting gently from side to side, just getting a little bit of movement back in. And you can slowly slide away the bolsters underneath your feet or underneath your hands. You can slowly shift to one side and then press up and away from it. And then from there, coming back to center to an easy sitting pose, just placing your hands on your knees and moving gently side to side. So you're waking your body back up, but you're trying to maintain comfort and peace, not moving too quickly. And then with those hands on our knees, we're going to slowly just kind of press forward, lifting up with the rib cage and then back, kind of like we're making little cat cows. The head comes forward and up. One more of those. Inhaling as you lift up, exhaling as you come back to center. And then bring the hands in front. We're gonna inhale, lift up. And exhale as the arms come down. Two more of those. Inhale up. Exhaling down. Last one. Inhaling up. Exhaling down, letting the elbows lead the movement of the arms. And then bring the arms back to center. Go ahead and interlace the fingers or rest them on your legs, whatever's comfortable for you. And I hope you've enjoyed this short practice. Remember, if you want to extend the time out on any of those poses, just pause the video and do that. Stay in it as long as you want to or need to. And if you're all finished for the day, then I hope you have the rest of a wonderful day. And I will see you next time.